Okay, the next thing we're going to do is actually more of an exercise than anything else, but it's going to lead us into some of the designs we're going to work with, some of the woodcuts that we're going to put into the feather fronds. You can also use it in some all overs and also in any of the swirl designs. And what we're going to do is we're going to go to the paper and remember the theory that a straight line is simply a straight line. And that's the first part of the exercise. Get used to doing a few straight lines across the top of your paper. And then I want you to start across and do straight line, zig down, zig up, zig down, zig up. Keep them nice and shallow, down, up. And do row after row until that feels like second nature. Again, you don't want to do real steep zig ups or downs. You just want to keep them nice and shallow. So they look like real tight sprockets, row after row. Zig down, zig up, zig down, zig up, zig down, zig up, zig down, zig up. Okay, now part two of the exercise is, again, a straight line is simply a straight line. And the rule 2 that applies to that is a spiral is simply a straight line that circles around itself. So practice doing spirals. You don't have to make them real big, but the one thing to try to be aware of while you're drawing them is that circular motion, that curve. Try to keep the spacing consistent, not perfect, but at least fairly consistent. And it's just a circle that echoes around itself. Again, it's simply that straight line. Okay, now the third portion, where you're going to feel the burn a little bit when you're drawing it, because you're going to think, oh, it looks horrible. But if you do 2 or 3 of them, or maybe 4, and again, make copies of that sheet that's in your PDF file and just trace over it, you're going to get the feel of it. You're going to do the next step, which is, again, that spiral, but now we're going to zig in, zig out, zig in, zig out. And remember to keep them curved. You're never working in a straight line. Zig in, zig out, zig in, zig out, in, out, in, out, in, out. And just keep circling it around itself. Keep going. Try another one. What I normally do is, you notice I start that spiral with one complete circle, and then I start doing the zig in, zig out, in, out, in, out. Now a lot of you have the same kind of brain I do, so you're going to get caught up in accidentally doing buzz saws, which are all zig out, zig out. When you do that, just hop right back to zig out, zig in, zig out, zig in, until it becomes second nature. Out, in, out, in, out, in, out. This is why I don't join a gym. In, out, in, out. Okay, now the next portion of that exercise is going to be where you can actually utilize what you're using. And remember those basic swirls that we did as a microfill? It's also for mystical cotton tracks. Start doing that and then start throwing in zig out, zig in. You don't have to throw in a lot, just every once in a while when you're on a straightaway, in, out, in, or going around a curve. You just continue on. Make sure you do a lot of echoing. When you get lost, you can forget doing it and just keep going on. The combination of the straight curved lines and then those zigs is going to marry to each other perfectly. Gives the design a nice masculine feel if it's going to be used as a large design, as an overall, or as one of our micro works. And just practice 2 or 3 pages worth just to get the feel of how it moves around itself. And this is going to make it a lot easier to do the next step when we get over to the woodcuts on the feathers. I tell you, between the basic swirl, this, and feathers, you really can fill up your repertoire.